Hello and welcome to our second RE lesson. So in the last session we looked at the Eightfold Path and the Four Noble Truths and how those affect how a Buddhist would live, and how we could apply those to scenarios in our own lives and our own world. So today we're going to be thinking about, as a theologian, can I begin to understand how belief in karma affects how a Buddhist lives? So, why should you be a good person? Why should you follow the Eightfold Path? And why should you try and aim to live that middle life? So we talked about not craving what we can't have, and therefore not suffering, because if we don't feel like we need it, we're fine with what we've got, then we'll be happy. So karma. Most Buddhists think that being good is important because every action we do has a consequence. This consequence can be thought of as energy or karma. If we do lots of good actions, we generate lots of good energy, which is karma, and we start to become a good person. This goodness will radiate out from us and we will attract good things and good people into our lives. If, on the other hand, we are mean, selfish, or nasty, we will generate bad karma. So, a Buddhist take on the importance of goodness. Karma may be summed up by the phrase, you reap what you sow. If you do the right thing for others, they will do the right thing for you. If you are mean to somebody, the likelihood is that they're going to be mean back to you. So trying to be the best that you can be at all times. Many Buddhists think that you generate karma over many lifetimes as we are reborn again and again, the belief in reincarnation. This means that we might be born with good karma or bad karma. So if you live a good life, you're likely to come back as a good thing and have a good life. If you have a bad life, then that's likely to affect your next life. So it's really important that you are good and you aim to be a good person, because actually it affects more than just that one life. It affects other people's lives and it affects all your lives to come, is what a lot of Buddhists believe. So I want you to think about an example of when you've been greedy or selfish in the past year and what the consequences were of that. And how did it make you or someone close to you feel? It can be something as simple as actually you were given a box of chocolates at Christmas as a family, and maybe you ate most of them, or you sneaked down and you ate them. How did that make you feel? How did it make the people around you feel? And were there any consequences to it? I don't know if you remember, I read quite often Michael Rosen's poem Chocolate Cake, about the boy that comes downstairs in the night because he knows that there's a chocolate cake in the cupboard, and he thinks to just take a few crumbs, and then he takes a bit more and a bit more, and he ends up eating the rest of the cake. And when he comes down in the morning, mum's like, oh, where's the cake gone? I don't understand where it's gone. And then she turns and looks at him, and it turns out that he's just got a bit of chocolate just here. So, and the consequence of it is that he doesn't get that piece of chocolate cake at break time that he thought he was going to get. She was going to pack it for him in his school bag for lunchtime or break time, and he doesn't get that. So the consequence is, well, you know, you've eaten it all. There's none for anybody else. So we all feel bad towards you, and you don't get to have any today. Instead, you probably feel quite sick because you've eaten a whole chocolate cake. So what are those consequences? Feel free to pause me here while you think about that. So how do we avoid bad karma? How do Buddhists avoid bad karma? So the Buddha taught that one of the main ways to avoid bad karma was to live by the 5 precepts. These are 5 moral rules which most Buddhists try to live by in order to ensure that they don't generate any bad karma. And you will see when we look at these how closely they link to the Eightfold Path. In a way, it takes the 8 things and brings it down to the 5. So when a person becomes a Buddhist, they promise to follow the 5 precepts. So it's a guide to show you how to live, rules or guides to show you how to live. So these 5 precepts are to avoid harming living things. So not stepping on that ant, not killing that wasp, even if it's just stung you. To take only when offered. So somebody has to offer you something, you have to have permission to take it. Don't steal. To avoid sexual misconduct. So no unwanted touching. To avoid improper speech, so no lying about anybody or gossiping or being mean about them, rude about them, always speaking in a nice way about people. And to avoid alcohol and drugs that can change the way that you think and the way that you behave. So if you do the wrong thing, it's not all over, you don't have to worry. It's possible to make amends. So most Buddhists think that every day represents a chance to turn around your life and start developing good karma. So what could someone do to make up for lying about something or for stealing? How could they make up for that? So would it be enough to go from lying to telling the truth? Is that enough? Or do you need to do something extra to make up for it, to make amends? Stealing, is it enough to just hand the item back, or do you think more should be done to make amends? So it's thinking about those sorts of things. How can you make something better? So think back to what you thought about with the time when you were greedy or selfish with something, like the boy with the chocolate cake. How is he going to make it better? What could he do? Could he go and buy the ingredients and make another chocolate cake for his family? What could he do? So we've got a statement here, and I would like you to answer this statement for me and upload what you write. So if everyone followed the 5 precepts, there would be no problems in this world. So if everybody followed those, everything would be fine. So if you're bronze, I would like you to write for me why you think some people might agree with that. Silver, you're going to answer it why people might agree, but you're also going to talk about why might some people think that that's not the case? What do you think that maybe there are more things that people need to follow? Are the 5 not enough, or are actually some of those not important and it doesn't matter? So what I'd like you to do is argue both ways. And gold, you're going to argue both ways, and I want you to put in a bit of your opinion. So I think this, not just many Buddhists think or some Buddhists think. You're going to say, and I think this is really important, and this isn't important, and I think that actually what they've missed out is this, and without this we can't live a life with no problems. Okay, so you might want to think about that in your answer. Okay, I'd like you just to have a go at it. See if you, so look back on, use the PowerPoint or rewind the video to look back at the 5 precepts and see, do you think that if you follow those 5 precepts, there will be no problems in the world? Okay, or silver, both ways, that there will still be some problems in the world because some people might do this and some people might read it like this. On gold, I think this because. Okay, so doing all 3 for me. I look forward to reading what you come up with.